One of the first things that I like to do whenever I first load into the game, anytime a new ESO chapter or DLC zone drops, is farm furnishing plans. Why? Because they sell for an insane amount of gold, something housing is endgame. Now, if you know me well or have watched a fair amount of my sweaty gold guides, I actually prefer to not farm incredibly RNG heavy activities to earn gold in this game. I'm too much of a little Mulder to partake in that tomfoolery, you know? It's important to me that I'm fairly compensated in gold for the amount of time that I spend actively grinding for it. It's why I cringe anytime someone recommends something wild, like farming Iliad furnishing plans, or the coveted Khajiit brazier as a viable and reliable gold farming strategy. You could very well farm for these things for hours, if not days, and walk away with absolutely nothing to show for it in the end. There's nothing wrong with seeking out these items, of course, but it's important that players are aware of this possibility before they dedicate so much time to farming for these kinds of items. Farming DLC zone furnishing plans is an activity that's kind of in the same vein, which is why I bothered to include this preface. Generally speaking, you can spend a long time looting containers in an instance, but you aren't guaranteed a furnishing plan, or a valuable one at that. This notion is one of the reasons why a lot of purple quality furnishing plans are worth so much in the first place. Whenever new furnishing plans are added to the game by way of the addition of a new playable zone, I make an exception to my gold farming standards. Why? Because, as I stated previously, all of these plans are worth a ridiculous amount of gold, and receiving a furnishing plan isn't nearly as rare of an occurrence as the aforementioned situations. But most importantly, even common green and blue drops are worth a lot when they're first added to the game. So the chances that you'll walk away with some solid cash after farming for the most recently implemented furnishing plans are as great as they'll ever be the moment a new zone drops. I would recommend taking advantage of this, especially if you ever have some time to kill while you're in game. Like if you're in a dungeon or battlegrounds queue, or waiting for your raid roster to fill up because half the team cancelled last minute because they all caught Ligma or something, I don't know. As I'm writing this, the Necrom chapter has finally released on the PCNA and PCEU servers. As expected, the new furnishing plans are flying off the shelves and they're worth quite a lot of gold. These new furnishings do look quite nice, so it wouldn't surprise me if they remain expensive for a fair amount of time, until they get added as part of the Master Writ Merchant's inventory, of course. So you're probably wondering where to best farm these new furnishing plans. Let me show you a few locations. This location is ideal if you're just looking to quickly and casually farm for some plans to kill some time. Cypher's Midden is a town that's located in Apocrypha. Take a brisk walk from the Way Shrine to Laramel's study and you'll find yourself greeted by a handful of lootable containers in a small little enclosure. These containers do not reset if you simply walk out of the study and back in, so consult your preferred instance resetting method instead. Mine involves previewing a home from the Crown Store and then leaving the home. Doing this places me exactly where I last was and repopulates containers so that I can continue farming. This location is ideal for those looking to seriously farm for some plans. A heads up though, the Salem Mora crypts can only be accessed after you've started the quest that corresponds with this area. This means that you'll have to do a minuscule amount of questing to be able to unlock the place, and refrain from completing the quest in order to keep this instance open and available for looting. After you complete this quest, you won't have access to these crypts anymore, so you might not want to do that. This also likely means that you'll have to sacrifice a quest journal slot in order to keep this quest open for maximum efficiency. As I stated previously, you'll need to do a little bit of questing before you can access the Salem Mora crypts, but trust me, it is so absolutely worth it. Simply talk to this lass located by Salem Mora to start the quest. Complete a couple of mundane tasks in the nearby area, and bing bong, you now have access to the crypts. If you are a Vardenfell furnishing plan farming enthusiast, it'll come as no surprise to hear that these crypts are packed full of lootable urns that can drop furnishing plans. And I mean packed full. This place feels like it has 100 urns to loot. I was honestly overwhelmed. You'll find lots of these little clusters of 2 to 5 urns scattered all over the floor, as well as urns lining shelves and in the walls. However, it is important to note that there are adds that will spawn here. Not very many of them, mind you, but it's worth mentioning. Rest assured, they are incredibly easy to defeat, making them more of a nuisance than an impediment. Be sure to farm containers passively while you play through Necrom. There are definitely other great farming spots out there, but I thought I'd at least get the ball rolling by sharing these two with you all. And that'll do it for this video. I hope that if you decide to farm for some furnishing plans, you are blessed by RNGs and get some really swanky ones. And before I get a bunch of people molding in my comments that because of me the value of these plans will now go down, cope and seethe, my dudes. We share a lot of trading secrets on this channel, okay? Tamriel. Trade secrets, one might say. Oh my god, I'm so clever. I'd like to thank Sifty, a fellow TTS server and guild member, for sharing these locations with my community. For more trading tips and tricks, feel free to check out some of the other related videos on my channel or join my community Discord server. Thanks for watching this video, and thank you to my YouTube members for their additional support. Hope you gamers have a great time in the new update, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, cheers.